Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mike and Bradley Sports Scene. My name is Mike Smith, and my name is Bradley Hargis, and we're going to talk about all things sports, from football to basketball to tiddlywinks. If you think that's a sport, we'll discuss that too. Though I don't think they'll have a major college championship in that by any means. But anyway, we're here, and of course, it's been an interesting season for Bledsoe County football, as basically they're still alive, and it's unusual for this deep going this deep into November. And of course, Bledsoe County now is 11-1 after taking care of business in the first two rounds, taking care of Eagleton 45-0, and last week Tellico Plains 35-0, and basically third straight shutout, 5 this season. The Warriors are 11-1 on the season and then ranked in the top 5, and they got a toughie this Friday as they will go to Jamestown to take on a team that gave them their only loss this season. That's York Institute Dragons. And of course, as they said in the Bugs Bunny cartoon, where Bugs Bunny takes a little seltzer bottle and puts out the dragon's fire, and we'll hope that Bledsoe County will do that. And this, of course, will be hopefully a better outcome than it did last time, which the game was lasted 2 days to anything else. Bradley, Bledsoe 11-1. They have gone further into the playoffs than any team in the modern era, and obviously just 2 wins away from a state title berth in Chattanooga on December 7th. What's your take on the season so far, Bradley?
Well, the York game earlier in the season was one of those that we've all wanted to have back. And I've said since the beginning of the season that if we'd have played that game on Thursday night, the outcome might have been a little different. And people don't understand how hard it is to get back up for something, especially for the Bledsoe County team to go out there on Thursday night with full expectation of playing, and then to be told just shortly after game time was supposed to originally kick off that the officials were not going to be there, having to basically have that adrenaline crash, then have to have another big long drive home, get up, go to school the next morning, and then get back up for the same game Friday night. It took a toll. You could tell the guys were wore out when they were playing. They were doing the best that they could, but it's really kind of hard to focus and stay focused and play up to your potential when you're drained. Your energy's drained. You're emotionally drained because you were up on a high, then you crashed, and I had to get back up again. So I mean, all the factors involved in that. And York, I mean, that night played a good game. I mean, they had a good game plan. They stopped our running game, and a lot of the factors to play into that, not just the things that we mentioned, but I would really like to have that one back, and we get a chance for that Friday night when we go up to Jamestown and play the Dragons. There is a big push. There's a big push, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not exactly sure when this will make it on the air. I don't know, but if it makes it before Friday, you're going to have to get out there to Jamestown. Please come and support the Warriors. The ideal situation is the quarterback club and the parents and the folks around the team are pushing for what they call the 12th man. You read about or see
Texas A&M has
you see the 12th man at Texas A&M because they're fans and how loud and how supportive they are.
And they stand during the whole game.
We want Bledsoe County to have that same type of atmosphere. We're all on one side at Jamestown, and it would be really neat because Mike and I, you'll be and I'll be on the other side of the field with a press box, watching or looking over at the stands, and it would be an awesome feeling to be able to look across that field and see more blue than purple. And that's what we're going to need. We're going to need people to get out there. We're going to need people to get loud. We're going to need people to pack the stands. The gates open at York at 5:30 p.m. So, if you're going to get out there, don't wait till 7 to get there. Because if you wait till 7 to get there, you're going to be standing on the fence on one end or the other because there's going to be no room in those stands. But if you get there at 5:30 or a little earlier, and be ready to go in when the gates open, because we've got to pack the house. We did it in Bledsoe County last week against Tellico. Let's pack the house at Jamestown. Let's show them, hey, that we're the real deal, and we are in this for the long haul. We've got to beat York Friday night, and I honestly believe our guys are up for it. They're focused. I think the team coaches and the team is focused, and I think it's going to be a really good game. And if you don't go, you're going to miss a dandy. I'm telling you that right now. You're going to miss a dandy football game.
Now, for those who aren't able to go, we're going to have the broadcast for you starting at 6:30 p.m. here on WAT, and then we'll have the kickoff at 7 p.m. at Jamestown York Institute High School. Now, Bledsoe County, of course, has never gotten past the third round. In fact, never been in the third round until last week when they won over Tellico Plains. Now, Tellico Plains, in all honesty, played a decent game. But they could not move the ball on us. Only 108 yards total offense for them. Over nearly 300 yards total offense for us.
Tellico Plains came in last week, and if I'm not a betting man, but I do know that if there was a line on this game, Tellico would not be a very large underdog because of the success they had and because of the momentum they had coming into this game. Bledsoe came out and played lights out on defense. Tellico could not move the ball for nothing. They passed the ball a little bit, but they could not get anything going. Bledsoe's defense just was where they needed to be at all times, and it's difficult. You saw as the game progressed, the first quarter and a half, you still kind of had an inkling that Tellico might, wake up.
Couldn't make it, yeah.
But then, as the game progressed, even past the first half, you're thinking, well, they know. I mean, you could just tell. You could see it in the players. You could see it in Tellico Plains Bears how they were thinking. That you could see their mannerisms. This is over. You could see it in Bledsoe County that there was a level of confidence, and it's just a shift in that game. That was all Bledsoe from the start. I mean, we threw that interception at the very beginning, and everybody was like, oh, no. And then the next possession or two later, we threw another one, and everybody thought, oh, here we go. But they bounced back from that and continued to stay in control the whole game all the way through. And I'm telling you, folks, if you've not watched Bledsoe County play, this is a special team. And I would not be surprised one iota if they actually made it to the semifinals and the finals.
Now the winner of this game will play the winner of Westmoreland Marion. Now that will be a road game next week if Bledsoe County wins either at Jasper or at Westmoreland. We preferably would have it at Jasper. Now the reason is simply because it's Marion County and basically it's an old opponent. And by the way, we'll talk about the realignments here. We'll give you what the deal is on that. A little bit down the road, but Bledsoe County, of course, wants to go to Chattanooga. They want to be in their first championship game since 1954. That's 70 years ago. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. Bledsoe County, right now, I've seen a lot of teams come out and play. I've seen a lot of Bledsoe teams, and some have been good, some have been near great. This Bledsoe team is approaching the great category. And if they make it through this game and the next game and get to Chattanooga and win the state title, there's going to be one huge massive party in Bledsoe County. I guarantee you. I wouldn't be surprised if you had fans showing up after that game at the high school to welcome back the Heroes. But again, that's jumping ahead a bit, and we don't want to end up getting everybody's hopes up too much. But anyway, Bledsoe County, of course, comes with a record of 11-1. They only lost to York Institute. York Institute started out 0-2, managed to right ship, have won 10 straight, and they claimed the region title. And of course, they had to get past Polk County to do that in the second round, as basically is that they have. They have dominated the two teams that they have played. Bledsoe County's offense, has put the points on the board, except for the York game, which they basically, for some reason, just couldn't get up for it, while only allowing at most 35 points in one game. That was against Gordonsville. And Bledsoe County has 5 shutouts in this season.
Against three straight, by the way.
3 straight. I mean, they beat out Oneida, they beat out Eagleton, and last week they beat out Tellico Plains. So let's look at this right now. The county is dressed in blue. You got of course the fire hydrants are blue and gold, so I don't think the fire department's going to have trouble finding them. But like I said, all the businesses in town have dressed up in their blue and their gold, the hoping thing. Now they'll be leaving Friday afternoon. I don't know exactly what time. It'll probably be after 3 o'clock. So we would like the fans to line the roadside of 127 as the teams go through the town to cheer them on, and we want cars behind them. Drive all the way up behind them.
They are kicking around the idea of coming through town with the buses, planning for everyone to get out and wave goodbye to them and cheer them on and then go. But it would be really nice, ideally, like you mentioned, Mike, is if they go through town and from here to Jamestown there's a convoy.
Yeah.
A convoy behind them all the way through Crossville. That's just paint your cars, put your flags on there. Let's take off. Let's support these warriors.
And if you want to paint your faces blue and gold, Bradley, please don't do that.
I've thought about
wear a giant helmet with the blue and gold on.
If I was able to go over into the stands and be a part of that crowd, I want you to know that I would alternate each finger in blue and gold, and I would put it right across my face for war paint, because we're going to war Friday night.
It's absolutely
we are going to war against the York Dragons, and there is a level of confidence on both sides, but there's also a different degree of, I don't want to use the word animosity, but there's a different degree of kind of like we owe you one type deal, because of the way that York had won the game earlier in the season and the circumstances surrounding that. So it's going to be a really good game, and I really do believe that.
I think however it turns out, it's going to be very exciting for the season. 10-2 York, ranked number 7 in the state right now. Bledsoe County ranked number 4 in one poll, number 1 in another. They're ranked in the top 10, and this isn't usual for Bledsoe County to be ranked in a lot of these polls all throughout the season. So remember this right now. This is a Bledsoe County team that just basically has racked up the points and showed their defense what to do. Now, of course, they've had some injuries, but then again, the others have stepped up to this. And obviously, the seniors want to go out with a state title, and we want to go out with a state title. And Bledsoe County would like to have a nice little Christmas present called a state championship for Bledsoe County High School. Now, of course, again, Bledsoe County, Friday night at York Institute. Gates open at 5:30 p.m. 7 o'clock is the kickoff. We'll have that broadcast for you if you're not there to see it. And you might get to see it on the NFHS network as well. If I assume they will have it.
I think York is streaming that on NFHS. That is a subscribing thing. Diamond Clear Media, I do not believe, is going to be running that. John Boynton III, who does the Diamond Clear here at home, did inform me, unless something has changed, he was not going to be able to do the game on Friday night for Bledsoe County. However, York does broadcast the game. They have a team there that does that, or NFHS. But if you're not able to travel, like if there, health or age or something like that does not allow you to travel, that avenue is open. But if you're able to travel, get to Jamestown. We need you. We need you out there in those stands.
It's going to be cold.
It is going to be cold, but
chilly.
Friends, it's November and it's football, and this is the first time that Bledsoe County has made it this far in the modern playoff era, and there is a chance that when you talk about this team and you say that team and you state championship in the same sentence, there is not a level of shock. There's not a level of no way. There's a level of expected.
They expect to win.
There is a confidence about this team. That's why, not taking away from any teams we've had in the past, because we've had some good teams, had some excellent players, and we did great things in the past. However, this team specifically, there is something special about it, and I keep saying that, but it's the truth. There's something special about it. There's a togetherness. There's a family. There's a family type atmosphere. There's an aura around this team that I have never seen in Bledsoe County football in my lifetime. Others may have saw something like that before my time, but I have never seen a Bledsoe County football team play to this caliber and everyone be on the same page and everyone be out for one another and not just themselves. That's huge. And that starts with the leadership and the coaches, and it trickles down to the players and the community getting involved, and it's a perfect recipe right now. Please get out there. I'm begging you. I'm going to go ahead and say it, and if I need to, I'll get on my hands and knees and beg you. Please get to Jamestown Friday night. Wear your blue and gold. Bring your cowbells. Bring your noise makers, your jugs with your gravel in it. Whatever you can do to make noise. We need to make a statement at York, Jamestown, this Friday night.
I'll bring my cowbells, especially.
No,
right?
They're not allowed in the press box.
Come on, you mean you got a state championship game? My Cowboys have to be there for that historical moment should it happen.
I've got them all.
I got some. I still got a bunch. Trust me. I got eventually those Cowboys will come back to me. Promise you that. Anyway, but okay, well, we're going to go on to about realignment. Now, of course, everybody's wondering about where Bledsoe County will wind up next year. Well, okay, this is the straight skinny. Bledsoe County will be in what's known as Region 3 2A. They'll be with York, they'll be with Monterey, they'll be with Grundy County, and they'll be with Marion County. Tellico, Polk County, and Oneida will no longer be rivals for Bledsoe County unless they schedule them as non-region foes. Now, Eagleton will take Bledsoe's place in Region 2. Now, of course, that means a lot of things. So basically, Marion and Grundy will be back on the schedule. They'll be playing again. And of course, if Bledsoe County wins this Friday night and ends up playing Marion County, that'll be a preview for next season. So that's how it goes. In basketball, Bledsoe County will be in an all-valley league. This will be Bledsoe County, it'll be Sequatchie County, it'll be Marion County, it'll be Grundy County. That'll be a 4-team league in District 5, 2A. So, also...
Well, the strange thing about that is, Region 1 football stayed the same. Region 2, which is what we are in now currently...
Well, Eagleton's leaving.
It went to a 4-team region. Polk, Oneida, Eagleton, and Tellico.
Yeah.
We moved west, which I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I still like, geographically speaking, it would make more sense to have Polk and Tellico with us, but whatever, that's the hill that's the day. But the 4-team Region 2 in football, and we got the 4-team
5-team
in basketball,
right,
in our Valley Conference. So it's weird how things play out, but I guess that's a surefire way to make the playoffs. If you've got 4 teams in football, you can go 0-10 and still be a 4 seed.
Now, if Whitwell had 20 more students, they'd be in class. They'd be in region. They'd be in class 2A, and they would probably be in the same region with Bledsoe. Okay, so we don't have the full schedule. They're probably going to still make the non-region change. Now, probably Bledsoe County and Sequatchie County may move to a later date, which is where they should be playing in the first place. But let's look at it this way: Sequatchie County will remain in 3A. They will be in the same district they were last year. Whitwell and South Pittsburgh will remain in the same region as before with the same players, or what I say, victims, being thereof. And of course, a lot of things happen. So again, there's a lot. It's just how it goes. Okay, like I said, also is that Wartburg is moving down to 1A, so they'll be in the district. Hampton's moving to 1A. Down to 1A, so they're moving out. Eagleton's moving from Region 1 to Region 2, so there's going to be some shifts around.
I think from 1A all the way up to 6A, the biggest shock to everybody is this scenario. Now, Pearl Cone out of Nashville, powerhouse, figures made them drop down to 2A.
Right.
They wanted to play up. But they didn't want to go to 3A because they knew they would have all roads in 3A lead through Alcoa. So what they did is they made the jump from 2A all the way to 4A, not knowing that Alcoa, the team they were trying to dodge,
get away from,
it moved up to 4A because they turned in the papers, and you don't know that until they come out with the final regions. And you're like, wait a minute. Pearl Cone is livid. I mean, they are so upset because they could have stayed. They could have went to 3A and played up and avoided Alcoa, but they went all the way to 4A. So they're playing in a larger region, bigger schools, bigger players. Alcoa is playing in Region 4A because a lot of the Knoxville teams are in 4A.
Right.
Because Alcoa is having to go way out of pocket to play their region games and to schedule the games that, out of region because nobody will play them because they're so good. So they're playing now in the Knoxville area, and the teams have to play them because they're a region game. And Pearl-Cohn, Marion County pitched a fit because they went down to 2A because they knew they were going to probably stick them with them.
Yeah.
And then they jumped to 4A to dodge Alcoa, and Alcoa was with them anyway. So it's just kind of a strange how it played out, but I think that scenario has been the talk of the entire state so far because they know that Pearl-Cohn was a big powerhouse and so is Alcoa, and now they're going to meet inevitably in the playoffs at least every year until they redraw the lines or the districts.
So so again, realignments for the next 2 to 3 years will be Bledsoe County, of course, getting a little bit of break, and we'll have to travel till night. I thank God for that. But they'll still have to go to Grundy County, which is not a lot of fun to drive to. Well, at this point, like I said, Friday night we're going to have a football game. We haven't been this deep in the season period, first time ever for both. Not an unpleasant problem to have. So Bledsoe County and York Institute, it's to be a battle. And I got an idea for Bledsoe fans to do. Someone bring an inflatable dragon, and someone brings a seltzer bottle and do it like Bugs Bunny. Spray that seltzer bottle. And
when I was playing, and we played York. I kid you not, their mascot, the school mascot, would dress up, and it wasn't necessarily a dragon per se, but it was more of a dinosaur, and it looked like they bought a Barney dinosaur outfit from a yard sale or something, and that was their mascot. No kidding, it looked just like Barney the dinosaur, the kids show, and I can remember when we would be cheering before the game, and we'd all come together, clapping and stuff, and people who played when I did, if they see this, they're going to know what I'm talking about, would break it down. We'd always say, ready, ready, break it down, Warriors, 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 and then we'd all cheer, and then we'd go off the field. Well, that particular day, I can remember Brandon Lewis, we call him Tub, would made the idea that we broke it down on Barney. Barney, and run off back in the locker room. But yes, it's different now. But several years ago, they had a Barney costume, and that was their dragon outfit. That was their mascot. But it'd be kind of, I don't think that we'll be allowed to have her, but it'd be nice to have Chelsea Trussell and that painted horse come out there and be on the sideline with us, but I don't think they will allow her to do that on their field. But
I mean, you look at the field last week at Pikeville. Somebody went out and painted Bledsoe and Warriors at each end, which is a nice touch. And of course, she came with the horse, and I figured every time she ran across the field, when came out on the kick to the game and that sort of thing. And I think that's very, very important. I think is that the communities come together. I think someone painted that to try to sell, those machines that lines the field for you. I think somebody was trying to do that as sort of a free, and we appreciate that very much. But I think that's very, very nice.
It was a nice touch, though.
It was a very nice touch. I mean, I put it on my Facebook page, and I think a lot of people liked it and that sort of thing. I think next year, I did suggest orange and blue and gold checkerboard, which would have been UT, that sort of thing. But anyway, well, when we come back, we're going to talk about college football and the Tennessee Vols and where their college football playoff hopes are at after the big loss to Georgia. And, of course, with 2 more games going. And, of course, the final regular season going up next week, Thanksgiving week. As you're watching the Mike and Bradley sports scene here on Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative Channel 18 and WAT AM 1110.
You need a bank that you can depend on. Here at Citizens Tri-County Bank, we have the most dependable staff that you will ever meet. Call in, you will not get an automated attendant, you'll get a person. But on the other side, we have all the technology that anyone would need, from apps to online banking to bill pay. So please come and grow with us as we're about to celebrate our 50th year. We are the only community bank you will ever need.
Come and see the beautiful Sequatchie Valley. And while you're here, visit the Dunlap Mercantile. We have a full line of hats from Resistol, Stetson, Charlie One Horse, American Hat Makers, GG Pip, Greeley hats from the TV show Yellowstone, and a full line of vintage hats. Make sure to check out our hat bar where we can clean, shape, and customize a hat just for you, right here at the Dunlap Mercantile.
At Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter, we're committed to be better. Better prices, better vehicles, a better experience. Your Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter understands that you rely on us to provide you with the highest quality of used vehicles. With over 350 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. So what are you waiting for? Let us show you a better experience with the Jason Lewis Automotive family. Come visit us at Rankin Avenue here in Dunlap or on the web at dunlapsupercenter.com.
Okay, we are back. We're going to go to college football and college basketball, and of course we're going to talk about Tennessee. Of course, took it on the chin against Georgia, I'm afraid, 31-17. As really looks for a while Tennessee was going to control it, cut up to 10-0 lead, but Georgia found a way to bounce back and managed to pull off a 31-17 win at Athens and extended the win streak over the Volunteers to 7 games. For Tennessee, their SEC championship game hopes probably are just shot. They are right now 11th in the college football playoff rankings on the outside looking in, and they say first 4 out, supposedly. But there's still hope that they can get back in and finish strong against Texas El Paso and then at Vanderbilt. Those will be noon games, by the way. They'll be kickoff games at senior day at Neyland Stadium, and then the Vanderbilt game. And Vandy, well, they got to go play LSU this weekend, so they're probably likely they're going to be 6-5.
And I was going to say it's a strange scenario because the hopes that Tennessee has to make the college football playoff is going to hinge on having a quality win. Not yes, you didn't hear it incorrectly. A quality win over Vanderbilt, and that's almost unheard of. But Vanderbilt has done well this year, have upset a couple people, and Tennessee better have their chin straps buckled because they're going into Nashville to play the Commodores, and it could be a better game than what we anticipate. But it is possible, very possible, and I would say even likely that Tennessee would make the college football playoff. They are ranked 11th, the top 12 teams, but we've definitely got to win out. And we would be nice if some of those ahead of us would stumble a little bit to move us up in that ranking. But even in the projected rankings, when this is before the college football playoff rankings even came out, of course they waited the mid to late season to do that. But Tennessee was ranked 4th in the nation, and they put a projected ranking out there, and Tennessee was 11th then too. And we were number 4 in the nation.
Absolutely.
So there's absolutely, and I'm not just saying that because the other teams are doing the same thing. Other teams are better ranking, but they have a lower playoff ranking because of strength of schedule. Yeah. The rankings for college football playoff is almost as absurd as the BCS rankings were
absolutely.
years ago, because the committee is getting together and choosing what game is a quality win, what team is a quality team, it's left up to a committee, basically, and a computer generation to what percentage or what points the team has as far as all these factors together, and it's really, they opened it back up to 12 teams instead of 4. I get it, it's great, but they got to change the way they get them in there.
Absolutely. Now you look at it this way: for Tennessee to probably get into the CFP, they would have to beat Texas El Paso, and they would have to beat Vanderbilt. Style points. They would have to rack up a lot of points against those two teams. Texas El Paso looks possible. Vanderbilt may be a difficult matter. Georgia would have to lose to UMass or to Georgia Tech at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky would have to knock off Texas. Okay, you figured it. Vandy would have to knock off LSU, which is right now in the middle of a little of a tailspin, so that's possible to do. Alabama would have to lose to Auburn in the Iron Bowl, and you would have to, of course, a lot of things. Ole Miss would have to lose to Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. So there's a lot of things happening here, and of course, LSU and Arkansas, I believe, play at the end of the season. One will have to another. That would have to be one or the other. Arkansas would have to beat LSU because Arkansas beat us, so it'd be a style points there. Now, people are saying, well, what happens if Tennessee doesn't get to the CFP? Well, they'll get into a bowl. Now, one projection has them with a rematch with Iowa in the Citrus Bowl again, which would not be exactly what I would want.
Yeah.
Then another one would be either SMU or Syracuse in the Gator Bowl, which would be a nice bowl. That would be a pretty good bowl. And of course, Liberty Bowl is another possibility. Tennessee is a strong contender. They won't get to the Music City Bowl because Tennessee is too high up in the rankings to garner a Music City Bowl bid. But like I said, there's a lot of things have to happen here. And of course, this is how the CFP is supposed to go. Okay, the 4 top conference winners would get a bye. Okay, they would not have to play until January 1st. The remaining 8 would play on December 20th and 21st at the higher seeds. Well, say for example, if Tennessee finishes, say for example, Tennessee beating Georgia, and if they didn't win the SEC championship game, Tennessee would probably host a first round game at Knoxville on December 20th or 21st. And it would be cold, but they would probably fill the stadium up. Now we're not so sure. So again, as we say, we got to wait until it rings itself out after the 1st of December when they have the championship games, and there are a lot of things here to be happening. Now, I know there's Lane Kiffin says that a lot of SEC coaches said they don't really want to go to the SEC championship game because if you lose that game, you're probably out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, of course that's here. Texas and Texas A&M right now are the lone win-loss teams in the conference. That's going to sort itself out when they both play each other at Texas A&M, and I'll bet you money that Texas A&M is probably going to let Texas have it.
Yeah,
in
that's
more
gonna be a
ways
good
than
game.
one. That
That's
should
gonna
be a good game. Alabama Auburn, that'll be the Iron Bowl. That will be a Saturday game. Georgia Tech will be it's rivalry games all around. Tennessee at Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. That's the good old fashioned, the hatred in the hills. Mm-hmm. Is one of those things. The I-40 series is another. So a lot of things have to happen for Tennessee to get in there. But Tennessee has to take care of the business. Win the remaining 2 games, and then wait to see what happens with a 10-2 record. Yeah. At this point, Tennessee could get in. Indiana could knock off Ohio State. Indiana is unbeaten. They're 10-0. First time in their history they're 10-0. They could go the Big Ten championship game, get in, and knock Ohio State out.
Yeah.
And it's not, and of course Ohio State plays Michigan. Michigan could knock off Ohio State. So again, these things could happen. We can't guarantee what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball, so we don't know. So we have to wait to see this Saturday, next Saturday, and then the championship games a week, and then we'll wait and see what happens when they sort it out. Hopefully the committee will get it right, but then I ain't promising nothing here. Of course, remember in 1998, first year of the BCS, you had 4 undefeated teams coming in there. The other 4th team, Tulane, was too far down in the rankings to make any difference. Though probably they should have been in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
And then you had 3 teams that were undefeated. somebody was saying, what if all three of these teams win? Somebody's going to get left out. Some people say Tennessee would be the one to get left out because, it's Tennessee. Well, what happens is this. UCLA loses to Miami in a game that was postponed because of a hurricane. Then the second one, Kansas State loses to Texas A&M in double overtime in the Big 12 championship game. So where does that leave? Tennessee. And for a while, it looked like they were going to be the number 3 team, falling to Mississippi State, but Tennessee managed to right the ship, win, got to the Fiesta Bowl, played Florida State, and Florida State got in there through the back door. Tennessee beat them, won the national. Now I love Jeff Sagarin. This is a true story. He said after that game, he voted Ohio State number 1. He did. He said, this is what he said. This was Tennessee did not play anybody. And people were saying they beat number 17 Syracuse at the Carrier Dome.
Yeah. They
beat number 2 Florida at Knoxville. They beat number 7 Georgia at Athens. They beat Alabama. They beat number 9 Arkansas.
Yeah.
In that memorable the fumble.
Yeah.
Okay. And they beat Mississippi State in the SEC championship game. Someone said, how can you say that they didn't play anybody? So, well, I'm an Ohio State fan. And I keep thinking, I saw something on Facebook about a week ago. This is a guy's an Ohio State fan. He's screaming that Ohio State football is college football. And my retort was that if you're a high school football team, and that's what Ohio State is, you guys can't beat SEC teams in bowls.
The competition in the SEC. Now the transfer portal has really helped this. I would say narrow the gap per se. But still, by and large, the talent level in the SEC is head and shoulders above that.
Yeah.
Outside, and you see that because the unfortunate thing is with the expansion of the SEC, there's no East and West now.
Yeah.
So the schedule's a little mixed up. Yeah. So you're having to play more SEC teams during the regular season, and it's proven to a lot of teams have that one loss to an SEC team, or 2 losses to an SEC team. But man, it's going to be crazy how it shakes out. But
okay, we know the SEC championship game is going to have Texas or Texas A&M. That's almost a certain bet. Now you got about 3 or 4 teams in the SEC. Other SEC teams, we're going to have a shot at another slot. That'll probably be Ole Miss, probably Alabama, probably be Georgia, probably be Tennessee. One of the 4. Now I don't think Tennessee's going to get in it, and because they have 2 losses and they lost the team. If they had 1 loss to Georgia, they probably would still get in. They would get in. But unfortunately it happened. Now basketball. Let's talk about basketball. The Tennessee men's basketball team right now is, depending upon which poll you're reading from 9th to 11th. And they are undefeated, and they pretty much have gone through things. They're in the Bahamas right now. They're playing Virginia. So that's going to be a tough test for them. The Lady Vols are also undefeated. They should be ranked by now, I would think. They should be. So a lot of things here. Rick Barnes has had amazing success after the first couple of years where it got a little rough for him, but everybody is suddenly saying that Tennessee basketball.
Well, Rick Barnes took the helm at Knoxville and had to do a little rebuilding, and now he's to the point now where he's reloading. It's not a rebuilding situation. The talent pool, he's got a few transfers to come in to fill some holes, the people that left, and he's doing exceptionally well to bring Tennessee to preeminence and what it should be, because the basketball team right now is, like you said, top 10, and even the Lady Vols, Caldwell is Coach Caldwell's first year there here, this season, and she's pegged to be one of the up and rising coaches, and she's coaching at Tennessee. She's got a high octane offense building up there. Lots of threes being. It is a fast paced offense, And if she has half the success with that she's had in other places, and coupled with
she was at Marshall and she wanted the Tennessee job. That was her dream job. If
she can have that half of that success, coupled with the discipline that she has learned herself through the years of watching Pat Summitt coach when she was younger and bringing that to the table, I really think she's going to be successful at Knoxville, and I think the Lady Vols are going to make some big strides this year.
Some coaches can recruit, but they can't coach. Some coaches can coach, but they can't recruit. Kim Caldwell can both coach and recruit. And that was makes Pat Summitt was like that. She can coach and recruit, and she certainly. And Pat Summitt was well known for coming down on a player if they didn't do as well as they should have been. You know, at least it's like Adolph Rupp used to say. He said, when the team wins, it's because they did what they were told to do. If they lose, it's because they didn't do what they were told to do. So that's the way it is. It's like Bear Bryant. You know, Joe Mangum said about Bear Bryant. I said, man, you'll win a great many games, and you'll lose a few. But I will guarantee you'll remember more of those games you lost than the ones you won. And he was so right. He was so right, because remember this right now. Again, coaching is the difference. You look at Josh Heupel at Tennessee. Considering that the other coaches that you had, something was sort of missing from them.
Yeah.
You look at Lane Kiffin. Didn't stay long enough to really get a gauge on him, but I really had a feeling that he was just there. That's all he was. Derek Dooley never got the traction, and I think it basically he really didn't know how to recruit good players.
He got the job because of his dad's legacy.
Yeah, well, yeah, because nobody else was there to take it. Now they tried to offer to Dave Cutcliffe, but they got into a squabble over, Cutcliffe wanted to get rid of the coaches there and bring his own people in, and the athletic director said, no, you need to keep some of these coaches, and that wasn't going to do. Cutcliffe would have been a great hire, but I don't think he wanted the pressure. And then, of course, you had Butch Jones, which was basically I think it was more hit and then miss, but it really is that at the fifth season he just collapsed on him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had Jeremy Pruitt, who thought the only way he was going to catch up to Alabama and Florida and Georgia, and so it was to cheat, and that cost him big time. So I would say right now, looking at this, is that college football, college basketball, that sort of thing. The amazing thing is that you haven't heard of very many firings. Usually is that you'll hear about 3 or 4 firings midway season, and that's unusual. I think schools are sort of like holding their fire a little bit. Florida told Napier, hey, you're going to come back next year. You're going to be here next year. And what he does, he gets killed by Texas, but then he goes out and he destroys LSU.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably going to do a coaching change at LSU probably after the end of the season. Probably. One of the names that's coming up is Nick Saban, who coached down there in the early.
I really don't see him come out of retirement. Of course, then again, money does talk. Like he needs any more, but
of course, Urban Meyer is another name that comes out of nowhere, and John Gruden. Again, John. Every time there's going to be a Tennessee, John Gruden's name comes. Just because he did a year as a grad assistant, he's Mr. Fix-It. But that sort of thing. Okay, when we come back, we're going to have the pro football, talk a little about pro basketball, and we're going to talk a little about pro baseball, trade news, and the Tampa Bay Rays finding a new place to play some baseball in the upcoming season. As you're watching the Mike and Bradley Sports Scene here on Buttsville Telephone Cooperative Channel 18 and WATA AM 1110.
At Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter, we're committed to be better. Better prices, better vehicles, a better experience. Your Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter understands that you rely on us to provide you with the highest quality of used vehicles. With over 350 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. So what are you waiting for? Let us show you a better experience with the Jason Lewis Automotive family. Come visit us at Rankin Avenue here in Dunlap or on the web at dunlapsupercenter.com.
Come and see the beautiful Sequatchie Valley. And while you're here, visit the Dunlap Mercantile. We have a full line of hats from Resistol, Stetson, Charlie One Horse, American Hat Makers, GG Pip, Greeley hats from the TV show Yellowstone, and a full line of vintage hats. Make sure to check out our hat bar where we can clean, shape, and customize a hat just for you, right here at the Dunlap Mercantile.
You need a bank that you can depend on. Here at Citizens Tri-County Bank, we have the most dependable staff that you will ever meet. Call in, you will not get an automated attendant, you'll get a person. But on the other side, we have all the technology that anyone would need, from apps to online banking to bill pay. So please come and grow with us as we're about to celebrate our 50th year. We are the only community bank you will ever need.
Okay, we're back. While we were off the air here, we were discussing something about the things about face paint and other such things. And of course, it reminds me of a story about Auburn and Georgia. One year, when they used to travel like a train in the early days, and the Georgia was coming down to play Auburn at Auburn, and some of the fans, Auburn fans, had paintbrushes in their hand with the school's colors. And as the train went by, they simply just allowed that train to get striped with Auburn paint. Well, the Georgia people didn't appreciate that too much, and of course they negotiated it. The next time they did that, use watercolors, because the railroad company didn't like it either. So it's next to use watercolors to make it easier to get off. So I will not be held responsible if Bradley Hargis runs up wearing blue and gold paint, wearing a headdress, because I will guarantee you one thing: if I took a picture of that, it would frighten people to no end.
I'm saying, man, I'm a diehard fan, man. We got to get out there and we got to support. So, whatever it takes, you can always tell those who are serious about what's going on, those who are serious about their team and supporting them, and those who are not. So that's just the way it is, Mike. Mm-hmm. You want to show your support. You want to really get out there and let people know how dedicated you are.
I warned you not to paint my car.
Paint your face.
Don't paint my car.
Paint your face.
Don't paint my car. That's all there is to it.
Paint the windows.
I don't paint the windows. I gotta see out of them.
With water-based paint.
I gotta see out of them. Anyway.
Not the driver's window. The side window.
No, I gotta see outside the side windows too.
You're not gonna color the whole window.
Yeah, brother. What am I going to do? What am I going to do with you, Bradley? What am I going to do with you? This is the type of nonsense I have to put up with. Anyway, let's talk about pro football, shall we? Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs finally lost the game, so there will be no undefeated teams in the NFL. Hasn't been since the Dolphins did it in 1972. But then again, they only played 14 games that season and won the Super Bowl. So, obviously, the Chiefs will, of course, hopefully will try to get back on the winning track. The Falcons are doing about average, and the Titans are not about doing the same, which is terrible.
Yeah.
So
I'm pulling for the Lions this year.
Yeah,
I'm not a pro football fan.
Hendon Hooker is
but I am pulling for Hendon Hooker, and I have a good friend of mine who is originally from Detroit. And again, I'm using the same thing that I used with the World Series. Albert Roberts, a good friend. I'm cheering for them, so I'm going for the Lions this year. And Hendon Hooker is another bonus.
Hendon Hooker actually is getting some playing time this year. Of course, it's more some mop-up roles, that sort of thing. But it would be nice if Detroit went to the Super Bowl. They're one of the few teams in the NFL has not been to the Super Bowl. So it'd be nice for them to think that. Of course, they've finally gotten some football muscle up in the Motor City, and of course Detroit will of course try to get it going here, and of course a lot of things. Of course, baseball. The Tampa Bay Rays have arranged to use the spring training camp of the New York Yankees, which is the largest, to play their home games while they try to figure out what to do with their field, which got shredded by that hurricane earlier in the year. And obviously Tampa Bay, of course, trying to figure out what they're going to do in the long run, because it really is that their stadium is a mess, to put it mildly. And so a lot of things here. So again the Dodgers, them bums is what they used to refer to, and when they were at Brooklyn, had won against the New York Yankees in the World Series, and I know it just broke Bradley's heart that them bums won over the Yankees 4-1.
One of the biggest shock to me right now is I mean, think about the Braves. Free agency is going to be huge this year. Matt Fried, star pitcher, did opt out of his qualifying offer, thus giving the Braves an extra draft pick. But it also opened it up for him to talk to other teams about money. Yep. It is possible that he could still sign with the Braves with another negotiated contract. Very likely, though, he will end up probably Boston, L.A., or they've even kicked around the idea of Chicago. I don't know, but he's due to get a big contract. Also, you're looking at free agency for the Braves, the shortstop situation. They're looking at names from Milwaukee. They're trying to find out. We got to have a solid shortstop. It'd be good to have a solid outfielder with Acuna coming back, and have another starting pitcher. There have been some talks and rumors of who they might sign, trade for, whatever, but those just kind of continue to build, and there's more and more every day. But the biggest surprise to me is Juan Soto, who went from San Diego to New York. Contract expires this year, and he had a meeting last couple days, I believe it was, with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
Of all people. I don't know how they're going to have enough money to afford all these big contracts, but nonetheless, he is in negotiations, and it could very well be nothing's in stone, but he may be a Los Angeles Dodger by the time this is all said and done. And I'm just not sure how that's going to shake out. But he apparently likes the West Coast. He liked it when he went from Washington over to San Diego. He liked it at San Diego, then he went back to the East Coast with New York, and now he's potentially going back to the West Coast again with the Dodgers. So I can't ever tell. Baseball is a strange thing. There will be some good free agents out this year, and the Braves and my team, they've got to do their part to sign some, make some trades, and they got to spend some money. And that agency that owns them now is not really willing to do that. Example, we let Swanson walk, who was our shortstop. We let Freeman walk, who won the pennant with the Dodgers, being a first baseman. And now we got Olsen, who is younger and putting up good numbers too. But still, baseball is a strange thing, and we've got to do some off-season moves here to get. I hope the Braves do, to get themselves back where they need to be. Strider will be back next year. Acuna will be back next year. Probably not by opening day, but they will be back. The rehab assignments and things will be worked out through the spring. So hopefully the Braves will be back on track to competing for another World Series championship. I don't know. But right now the Dodgers are going to be the team to beat because they're the ones spending the money. Next to them is going to be the Yankees and the Mets again because they're the ones spending the money. And it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out next season.
Okay, well, while we're at it, we want, of course, the high school basketball season is starting to come up a little bit, and they're getting ready for that. And Saturday they're going to have an alumni game, odds versus even. That'll be Saturday at 5 o'clock. That'll be at the high school gym. If you want to go see see how many people will actually from the previous basketball teams will come out and play. You
got alumni players. You got alumni cheerleaders coming in. Everybody that's had any involvement in the past is supposed to be involved in this. So it should be an interesting thing, and it's to get introduced to season, I guess, and get some funds for going in there for charity. So it should be a good thing as a community, and who knows? We'll get out there and see who still got it and who don't.
Well, of course, you got some of the football players who also play basketball. They're probably not going to be concentrating on that.
Right.
And if Bledsoe gets to the state championship game, I will guarantee you right now that these players will not be playing basketball because you don't want to risk injury to them and that sort of thing. But anyway, Bledsoe County, of course, plays on December 3rd at Cumberland County to start the regular season out. So that's an interesting game as two old district foes will be matching up with each other. And that, of course, we'll give you the schedule as soon as we can get it. But anyway, a lot of things happening here. Again, like I said, Friday night, Bledsoe County will travel up to Jamestown, Tennessee to slay some dragons. As, of course, Bledsoe County in the third round of the TSSAA playoffs for the first time in school history, modern school history, will place off against the Dragons. The winner of that game will play the winner of Westmoreland Marion. That will likely be on the road. And so Bledsoe needs a huge turnout, need the 12th man. Now, Texas A&M, let's talk about the 12th man. The history behind the 12th man at Texas A&M, they had a young player who quit playing football. Well, they said they needed him back. So what they did is in the middle, off the sidelines, they put the number 12 jersey on him. Hence the number 12. And they told him to stand by. They didn't need him, but he stood by the whole time for the rest of the season wearing the number 12. That's why Texas A&M, they stand during the whole game. These student body stands during the whole game, being the 12th man.
That's the thing too, and I'm not picking at nobody. I mean, you do whatever you want to do, but here, if you were playing football, if you were playing football, and you looked up in the stands, and you saw the stands all up there, what kind of, I'm going to ask you this question, and this is a challenge to you, all the listeners out there, all the watchers out there and viewers. What kind of fan are you? What kind of fan do you think, if you were a football player, that you would want to look up in the stands and see? One that goes and sits like this
Is there like Bradley Hargis
through the whole game? Or do you want somebody that is up and yelling and screaming and making all kinds of noise and cheering, with good sportsmanship, mind you. We don't mean vulgar, ugly things. We're above that. We're better than that. So keep it where it's supposed to be. But if I was playing, I always liked to see a fan that was animated, that would cheer, that would holler and hoop, yell and scream, and just really let it out. I'm going to challenge you to be the kind of fan that you would want to see if you were a player. Be the kind of fan Friday night, wear your blue and gold, paint your face, I don't care, but wear a headdress, I don't care, but get out there and yell and scream and cheer. And if you've got a voice when you leave that ball game Friday night, if you can still talk without being hoarse, you didn't do it right.
Yeah,
get out there and scream and yell and hoop and holler. Get behind these guys.
We do advise is that if you go out there, wear pants. I mean, some people want to, because some people like strip down to, to where they have like a breechcloth and that sort of thing. Wear some sort of clothes. Let's be family friendly.
I don't think it has to be mentioned to wear pants. But it always has bothered me though when you go into an establishment and it says no shoes, no shirt, no shoes, no service. Never says anything about pants. That's always bothered me. But dress warm. It's going to be cold.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
But wear your blue and gold. Yell your heart out. Let that warrior spirit come up. We have a chance here, guys, to do something special. Be the 12th man. I would love to see more blue than purple there.
Yeah.
And they're all on one side. And, Bledsoe and York fans will all be on that same side. So get out there and get your seat claimed. And you know, guys, that York knows we're trying to get a big crowd out there.
That's right.
They are going to try to do the same thing. So you've got to get there early. Gates open at 5:30. Be in line and be ready to go in so that you can get your seat claimed. And let's take over Jamestown on Friday night. That's what we want to do. Get behind these boys. Take over Jamestown.
Don't do like Bradley does at basketball games. And I've always had a little fun with him when he's sitting there in the basketball game. This is what he does. That's Bradley. Sitting there going...
Mind you, that Mike only gets to see me or talk to me at halftime or between the games. During the game, he is up doing the broadcast, and he does not hear nor does he see what I'm doing. So, and there's nothing going on at halftime for me to yell and scream at, and nor is there anything between the games for me to yell and scream at. So that's why he sees that part of me, and that's what he's not telling you. But go out there and cheer your heart out, and let those boys in blue on the field know who you are behind and that you are with them all the way. And let's take that whole atmosphere, that whole idea, and that whole support, let's take that all the way to Chattanooga with us. We have a chance. We can do this, but we've got to have the people behind us. Let's get it done.
So I'll let you know, when Bledsoe takes off and goes up to York Institute on Friday afternoon, we would ask the fans to stand by the roadside. Stand by the road. Just be safe. Let's be safe. Don't stand in the road. Stand on the roadside. Okay? Because I know some people will just go through life. He's thinking, you should stand on the road. Stand on the road? Yeah, well, no. Stand on the roadside. Hold up a sign saying "Go Warriors," something like that.
You know, there's things that you just don't expect to have to say to somebody. And
But unfortunately, you do.
Number one is wear pants, and number two is don't stand in the road. You just don't think you have to say that to people.
Unfortunately,
Here
human
we are.
nature being
Here
what
we
it
are.
is,
Yeah, here we are.
human nature being what it is. You know, like people say, you see a wet paint sign. It's the wet paint theory. Let's understand what the paint theory. You put a sign on a bench, you just paint it, it says wet paint. Now, it should be clear to one and all. Wet paint, do not touch. What happens? You're going to have somebody who's going to go over and touch that paint.
Sure.
That's the way it is. It's human nature. Like I said, the Bledsoe team bus will be leaving. I don't know exactly when they're going to be leaving. It'll probably be after 3 certainly. So when they do announce it, we want everybody to get in there, and we want everybody to cheer on these Warriors as they go through town. And of course, the Warriors want and need your support. And remember this right now: show your spirit. Get the cowbell. Get the milk jugs with the gravel in it, and I'll bring my cowbells. Bradley.
You'll sit in the stands while I broadcast from the press box too.
And remember this: we'll have the game for you Friday night. If you can't go for some whatever reason, if you can't go, we'll have the game for you Friday night. That'll be 6:30 pregame and 7 p.m. kickoff here on WATA AM 1110. And hopefully, if we're back here in 2 weeks, hopefully Bledsoe will be talking about the state championship game if all goes well for the Warriors. So again, we bid you farewell, Bradley. You have a closing
you
word.
almost forgot.
I was thinking about forgetting.
He was fixing to sell me short, friends. You know that I cannot go a show without looking you in the eye and saying, "Go Blue, go Braves, and go Big Orange."
Baseball season is over, Bradley, so you can't say "Go Braves." Anyway,
you
we'll
say all
bid you
year long.
farewell, and we'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks. As if things go right, we'll have the state championship preview here. We'll talk basically about that, and we might have the guests, like maybe get the coach and a couple of players to come up here.
Be nice.
And be our guests. So we bid you farewell as you're watching another issue of the Mike and Bradley Sports Scene here on Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, Channel 18, WATA 1110 Pikeville. We'll see you Friday night at Jamestown. Bledsoe versus York, third round of TSSAA playoffs. As they say, it's football time in Bledsoe County. Good night, everybody.